Hello and welcome. This is rooflemonger, and my friends, the 2XKO beta is now wrapping up. As the time of me posting this, it's either just about to end or might have already ended, and it's been a hell of a time. So basically the point of this video is going to talk about the game and, just a lot of things I think about it. And I'm not sure I'm really going to surprise anyone with this, but my overall impressions of the game are indeed positive. In fact, if you look at just about anyone's going to be talking about the game, I think for the most part, the game's talk is positive. Is there some bugs? Yes, and the bugs are quibbly stuff. I'm sure they'll be fixed in time. But is there some other issues? Also, yes, I would say. The game's not perfect. I think they're doing a lot right, but obviously, as with any game really, things could be better. And, that's kind of the exact point they're going for here, right? That's the whole point of this, is we were here not only to play the game, see what it's like, but to break the game. And, see what works, see what didn't, and just kind of go from there, right? And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. A lot of things I didn't think would be possible, turns out are very possible, to the point where, some things, they're a little rough. They're a little rough. So hopefully I timestamp this video into specific sections. But one of the things I'll just talk about right now, I guess it's a negative, I don't know. But one of the big things people are touting that they love is something I'm just not feeling personally, and that is duos, the 2v2 aspect of the game. Most people I found are over the moon with it, and I say absolutely more power to them. For me, though, I kind of just want to be in charge of the game. I don't want to wait on a partner. To me, we've already tried this with Street Fighter Cross Tekken, and back then I learned it wasn't for me. Maybe I don't have the right person to duo with, or maybe I'm just lacking the right synergies with different players, or whatever, I'm not sure. But I just kind of bounced off it, honestly. I think it's probably the thing that best benefits from actively either being in the same room with the other player, or at least being on Discord and voice chat or something. I didn't have those experiences. I just kind of just went with it, I guess you could say. And for me, the experience is just kind of, nothing too crazy. I find I might be one of the lone voices of dissent, but thankfully it doesn't really matter, right? Because if I don't want the option, it doesn't hurt me to not use it. And if the people do like the option, it's there for them and more power to them. So in that way, even if I personally don't care about it that much, to be honest, it doesn't cost me nothing, right? Because I can just play by myself. I don't have to pick a dual partner, and the people who do like it can do it. And the fact that the game lets you mix and match, right? The fact that you can play a solo player versus a team of two is an option. Hey, there you go. But that's just kind of a general thing, and on the general aspect, all the things I thought were good before are still good. The characters are brimming with personality. The game is very colorful. I like bright colors in fighting games. I don't like it when things are dull, drab, and dreary. I like when things pop. This game definitely pops. The animations are very nice. The way the characters kind of showcase their personality to you, the player, through the match is really good. I think Braum is an A-class example of that. Braum is brimming with personality. Just everything about the general presentation is really good, right? The UI does not take up a lot of the part of the screen. It's there with the info you need, nothing more, nothing less, right? It's, on that end, pretty much just kind of a total home run to me. And general game feel feels good. Animations play out in a very satisfying way. Every move where, the character feels appropriate for the character, Braum feels extra powerful, those axe swings from Darius feel deadly, nice and sharp looking with the effects, that's all good. When it comes to the gameplay mechanics, I guess we'll talk about it here. I guess we're now in the mechanics section, right? There is some stuff I don't like. The one thing is combos too long? We've talked about it. And as combo structure has gotten better and people figured out stuff more optimally, yeah, combos can get too long. And you're going to think I'm going to single out Ari, and yes, as someone who picked up Ari because of the assist, which we'll also talk about, Ari combos, they can get a little long, right? Here, I drop the combo, but she can convert from a half-screen fireball, and that's sort of a big deal. Her pressure is really annoying. The block screens can last for a long time, but it's not just Ari. Yasuo, once people start really optimizing Yasuo combos, those last a long time too. And I'm gonna say it too, Braum combos can be too long. This is the mid-screen combo for Braum. This is my mid-screen B&B. It's very easy to land, it's very easy to hit. I've gotten a million times, and it just feels like it's a couple seconds too long, right? I don't know how you want to do it with hit stun decay or maybe like change damage values, I don't know, but it just feels like it's just a smidge too long, especially for like a gigantic bruiser character. And that's before like I even bring in the assists into it, right? Like, here's something I figured out that's like very in-match practical, and it's off the command grab. And like, to me, the command grab traditionally in fighting games is you land the grab, you get your damage, that's it, right? This being a tag game versus game, you can get combos and all that after the fact. But once again, with assists and nature of certain characters, things can be pretty long. So this is a very realistic combo to land. This is not terribly difficult. I know, okay, I know my perception. I'm the grappler propaganda guy, right? So I know that, you know, a lot of people don't trust my opinions on this kind of stuff. But like, to me, I know how frustrating it is to get grabbed, right? I scam people all my life. I've been scamming people with command grabs. And I know if you lost like friggin' like 70% of your life on a combo where you lost player agency, that's the buzzword, right? You lost control of your character for that long off a command grab. That's not good feels. That's not good feels at all. Like, how do we address this? Like, to me, it's fine. I'm the one hitting the buttons. I'm laughing all the way to the bank. But if you're on the other end of that, like, not even so much the damage, but just the length of time off all of it, right? That is not a good thing, especially because with Braum, it is incredibly easy just to end a combo with, like, jump S2, and then I just jump, empty jump, haha, got you, grabbed you again. Done, right? And then you probably just lost the character. So, like, how is that addressable? Like, one of the things I thought about for Braum specifically, and this could be the case for all command grab characters, but since Braum is, like, specifically, you know, has buff, doesn't have buff, like, the base grab should just do a lot more damage. Hard knockdown, but not in the way that Ari just gets another free combo, because that's the thing. Hard knockdown, that's it, right? You just get a big chunk of damage, that's it, that's all. And maybe with the buff, then you can get like the combo after the fact. As it stands, the buff just gives you better scaling on your combo. That's it. So in terms of like, you know, making stuff feel special, maybe you only get the big combo if you have the buff and you burn the buff. Otherwise, you get the cash out, you do your damage, great. That's the reward in and of itself. Make it do more damage than it does currently without the combo and just kind of go from there. I don't know. But yeah, a lot of things about combos are kind of too long. I know if you have versus game experience, you'll be like, well, Dragon Ball FighterZ combos are too long. Yeah, and that was annoying back then too. You know, older games like Marvel 2, combos, unless it was an infinite, combos were not long in Marvel 2. Marvel 3, a lot of the longer combos in Marvel 3 are the result of glitches, you know, like, just because it's a versus game doesn't need to be a long combo. Because the fun of the versus game to me is like the mad cap, like scrambling and just hitting buttons and going crazy neutral, right? That's where the real fun is. And then, you know, oh, I got tagged, put my hands down for 20 to 40 seconds. That's not cool. I know they're working on it. I know it's being addressed, but I just feel just constantly bears repeating because this is something that scares away casuals. And when you're just putting the combos in way too long, and even me, I get frustrated when I'm in a long combo. I'm like, just kind of like, okay, let's get back to playing the game, right? Some of the things like them tweaking up damage definitely can help. Lowering hit stun decay markers. Certain moves give guaranteed hit stun decay no matter what, no matter how long the combo is. Ari's a very big problem with exactly that. But it can all be addressed. It's all very fixable. One of the things, the level 2 supers, I feel you could speed them up in a lot of places, like Braum. A lot of the, you know, interstitial like flashes when the Poros are attacking, you could like speed it up 3x and just make the overall super shorter. It looks great. The animations, all of them are great. I love the animations, but if you could speed those up too, that would also just make combo length that much shorter, right? Complete confidence they'll address it, and then we'll look back on this build, you know, years from now, like, oh man, remember this crazy combo? But it's just something that needs to be said. Other things just in the realm of mechanics, I believe when the game starts, everyone starts with no meter, right? I think everyone should start with a meter, just because offense is a lot stronger than defense in this game, and that's how it generally is in modern fighters, right? Pretty much everyone but City of the Wolves, offense is going to be more like powerful than defense, right? And that's okay. That's not a bad way to do it. but it does lead to steamroller kind of effects. And the only really strong defensive mechanic in this game is push block, and push block takes a full meter, right? And at the start of a game, that means with absolutely no meter, in the first round, the first character to get like any kind of, momentum, push the other guy to the corner, they're that much more likely to win because there's no meter, so they can't push block. That's not even an option on the table, and therefore with, your best defensive option gone, that means you're that much more likely to get steamrolled, get mixed to death, get chipped to death, get whatever, right? This is something I've said before when we had the riot trip last year, and I still stand by it. When the match starts, both teams should start with at least 1 meter so they have the options available. By the end of the beta here, like at my time with it, I started looking at push block as more like this is the main defensive mechanic, and so I just started saving meter for it, Get damage at the end of the combo with meter with a super is nice, but I'd rather just not get mixed to death and die in the corner. I'm okay with push block taking a meter, right? That's fine. Originally, I was less okay with it, but I've grown to accept it as a design decision. But just specifically in the first round with no meter on anyone's table, that means the team that's capable of just being more aggressive, more steamrollery, is kind of just more likely to win in the first round. And we do have Retreating Guard, the free version of push block, where you push yourself backwards, right? And that's perfectly fine, except I feel it's almost like discriminatory. It does not affect all the characters equally. It is almost impossible to Retreating Guard out of like a Yasuo or Ahri string, because their stuff's so long range and they can just easily catch up to you, right? Versus, say, Braum, whose moves are big and slow and lots of recovery. If any one move whiffs for Braum, he's basically guaranteed to get smacked on the other end of things, right? If it moved back just a little bit further, so it didn't feel like it didn't disproportionately affect certain characters, because to me, it's almost useless against Ahri, but it's very strong against Braum. I just get that feel. I don't know, maybe your experience may differ. But to me, Retreating Guard felt very strong versus Braum and Illaoi specifically, and it felt sort of weak against Yasuo and Ahri. So your mileage may vary, that's just a thought. So now let's get into character balance. So I don't think this game's like wildly unbalanced, and obviously unfinished game, there are only 6 characters, we shouldn't even be talking about it, but we gotta talk about it, right? Just certain things like assists. Most assists in this game compared to other versus games, they're kind of bland, and that's okay, right? Maybe assists aren't meant to be as strong, but then you look at certain assists like Ahri, and Ahri's not playing the same game the other characters are in terms of assist strength, right? Her Vegeta-style assist gives everyone the world. In a game where it's difficult to pick up OTG combos, she gives everyone an OTG. It covers a lot of the screen. I've literally won multiple games purely on the back of the assist. Like, I didn't do anything to win. I just hid behind Braum's shield, called the assist, and she won the match for me. Like, very briefly, I was talking with Diaphone, right? And Diaphone was shocked that I was playing Ahri, and I told him, I'm playing her because the assist. That's it. Like, Ahri is very much not my kind of character, but that assist, like, I can't say no because it's too dang good. And having a strong assist is not a problem, right? But then you just look at, like, what that is. A completely unique move that is only for her assist, that is very strong and covers, like, a myriad of possible options. And then Illaoi. Illaoi gets the move what does the tentacle and the normal tentacle, and that's it. Like, tentacle slam, that's it, right? There's a severe gap in the power of the assist. Other than, like, say, the Darius Illaoi chip damage team, which we covered in another video, right? The assists for her compared to Ahri, like, it's night and day. Like, if you could just pick them in a vacuum, you'd always pick Ahri. Now, in a versus game, obviously, there's going to be better assists and, not better assists, right? But Ahri is also, to me, pound for pound, the best character in this beta, and the assist is a very big part of it, right? In fact, here, if you want a rooflemonger tier list, here it is real quick. There we go. Don't got to burn a whole video on it. I think the characters, no one's unviable, but there's certainly gaps. Ahri, I think, is pound for pound the best just because she can convert off everything, especially from mid-screen, just off a random fireball. Best assists in the game. Darius, Yasuo, Echo, all very strong, all got their gimmicks. Braum is functional, suffers from a lot of big character woes, and Illaoi doesn't feel complete, or at least doesn't feel like she can compete on the same level as the other characters. We're going to talk more about character specifics and Illaoi then, but yeah, I just don't feel she, in this current state, can hang as much. Certainly very fixable, but is what it is. But yeah, as far as assist goes, adding just more characters to the roster means more viable teams because more assists are there, and assists make a team composition and team gimmicks. So like a lot of that can be solved by more characters, but in this small vacuum, Ahri just felt head and shoulders above everyone else as far as assists go. Also, the throw game itself, like the basic throw, everyone needs a basic throw, right? That also felt a little whack in some ways. Like, okay, Braum, command grab, easy enough, right? And in most scenarios, I would say the command grab for Braum of the characters in the beta is the best throw. Like on the flip, Ahri missed rushdown, she gets almost nothing off her throw, right? And knocks him very far away. She's like locked into her stuff. She can't even combo into a super. It doesn't work. Sure. And it's fair enough, right? But then some people like Darius. Darius feels a little messed up. I'm not opposed to like using assists to get some combo ability off throw. Darius feels a little strong because like he gets combo ability off his grabs. Yes, it's subject to scaling and all that, but like the fact he can land level 1 or level 2 after the fact just makes him feel a little strong, like a little grappler-y, because like he can just do this whenever. In comparison, Illaoi, like this is what she can do without a tentacle. That's about it, you know. Like yes, with a tentacle up, she gets the grab, right? That is cool, and like I think that's a very strong part of the character toolset, and something that makes her fun. Like, oh, I got you, and you have the tentacle up, haha. You know, eat poop, gotcha. Get a bit of a combo going, right? Sure, but she has to earn it. She has to deploy her mechanic, and sometimes air throw reward seems a bit high too. Just all things considered, I don't know, but just a thought, right? As someone who's obsessed with throws and grappling, it's just one of the things I noticed about the game. Air throws, I guess maybe not inherently good or bad. Certain characters definitely benefit more than others, I would say. But as far as like just basic throws, it just feels kind of weird that like Darius can just do a corner combo whenever, when like Illaoi, specifically like a more bruisy, more tankier kind of character, has to earn it, as it were. And then there's the fuse system, the grooves. I definitely feel there's a wild imbalance within them. I'm not talking Pulse, because Pulse is just purely for beginners. But when you look at them, there's definitely winners and losers, right? Like 2x assist is easy enough. Like I only use 2x assist, and I picked Ahri because I was there to abuse the assist, right? And sure as sugar, 2x assist lets you abuse it like crazy. You know, it's not infallible or whatever. Like, you know, it's not perfect, but man, is it strong. And it's strong in a very easy to use and easy to understand way. Same with Double Down, the tag supers. Certain characters have just extreme super synergies, most of those being Ahri, because Ahri's kind of busted. And it is not difficult or even unreasonable to expect touch of death combos with Double Down, with not even like burning all 6 bars. Like 2 bars for each character, if you can pull it off, like I would say near guaranteed deal, you're definitely going to kill somebody. And fair enough, I guess that's sort of the spirit of the fuse, the groove, as it were, right? But definitely feels strong compared to like Fury or Freestyle. Freestyle, I feel, is one that's going to take a lot of lab time, you know, outside of the purview of like just this one-time beta experience, because that's going to be hyper character and like team specific, and certain teams are going to have certain gimmicks where it's going to be usable to its maximum, but that's not just something that's going to be strong out of the gate, and that's fine. That's perfectly okay. That's one where its potential will be revealed in time when the game comes out. But even then, is it as strong as the naked strength of Double Down or 2x assist? I don't know. Because those are good out of the gate. You don't really got a lab. You can just kind of hit buttons and go. And Fury is not without its charm. Like the Fury cancel is all right. But Fury basically is like the next step up from the Pulse groove, right? Like, okay, you don't want to do auto combos anymore. But to me, Fury feels like, okay, you don't want to do auto combos, but everything else is still too advanced, so you take Fury and just occasionally get bonus damage for being low health. The one-off dash cancel, that's anything cancel, really, right? It's really cool, and that also can lead to touch of death combos, as we covered in other videos, but it's just not as good as, like, just spamming assist, right? To the point where, like, the freestyle fuse has a penalty on, like, the actual timer itself. So I know call an assist, they do the pose, peace out, 2-second timer. That's normal. That's how everything else works, right? But if I do it, handshake, hit a button, handshake back out, whatever, it's going to be 6 seconds. And maybe that's the right amount. The playtesters are certainly putting a lot more time in us, and this is certainly the fuse more than any other fuse where it's going to need a lot of time. People figuring out very specific teams, very specific combos. That's going to like just really make the most out of it. It's the most advanced fuse by a mile. So maybe that's fine. But then we look at 2x assist. Like, as you've probably been seeing some of the B-roll footage, right? I've been doing a lot of just Braum shield, and I'm hiding behind that area assist, and like Ari's just carrying me for days, right? And doesn't matter if I call her once, and then she pieces out 2 seconds, right? And if I call her twice, okay, second time, right? It's still going to be 2 seconds. Maybe that needs to be like 4 seconds or something, maybe just a little bit longer, because I'm spamming this. Like, this is my win condition, basically, right? Like, if any one of these randomly straight hits you, like, you're in for a world of hurt. Like, I'm going to hit you with the B&B. Depending on, you know, how much I want to spend after the fact, I'm probably still going to get a good chunk. Probably like half your life or even a little bit more. Especially if I'm going to do a level 2, right? It's going to suck. And, like, that's all I do. And, like, if this on cooldown, I just run away till it's back up and then back at it, right? Like, so maybe 2x assists. The fundamental soundness of the fuse, I think it's cool. Like, it's neat that you can call multiple assists. I don't want that to go away, but maybe don't be able to call as much. And I'm saying this to someone who's using and abusing this, right? Maybe there should be a little bit more of a penalty on the time. And stuff like the double down fuse, maybe additional scaling on supers. Like, don't ruin the synergy idea behind it, but maybe make it so it doesn't do as much damage and as likely to get touch of death combos. Pulse, like, needs just to be Pulse. It's a beginner fuse. It's not meant for serious competitive play. Fury Groove, just something to give it just a little bit more of an edge. As an old head, you know, love my Capcom versus SNK 2. You know, fuses are grooves anyways. So maybe give Fury Fuse hops. Like, you know, SNK style hops. And then we can just turn it into K Groove with the serial numbers filed off. I'm perfectly down for that. Or you could give it just Defend, which I don't think is a road a lot of y'all are ready to go down anytime soon. But regardless, the Fury Fuse, I just needs a little bit of buff. Okay, so now let's talk some character specifics. Other than, you know, like some of the specifics where I talked about, like, you know, combo length, all that. I think a lot of the characters have very strong identities. They know what they need to do, and getting them right, just, you know, it's a tweak here or there, right? There's nothing inherently wrong with it. Like, is Ari stronger than the rest? Yeah, I think so. But someone has to be the strongest, right? But the thing is, my one point is Illaoi. You know, I went into this thinking, okay, Braum and Illaoi, that's the team for life. And you see me picking Ari, right? So things didn't go as planned. So Braum, Illaoi, like, there's not a lot of synergy there, and that's fine. Not every two characters need to have, like, perfectly synergistic values with each other. But the problem is more just on Illaoi's end. Like, I love Illaoi. Like, this is a character I was over the moon when they announced it, right? First time I saw him, like, awesome, awesome, awesome. I love everything about it. Big character, big lady. You know, the whole, like, Cthulhu light mythos going on. All the Eldritch Horror stuff, except Nagakaboros is, like, a self-help deity. Maybe a deadly self-help deity, right? But still, nevertheless, right? Not pure evil. But just gameplay-wise, she seems to be at odds with herself. You need the tentacle to do the thing. Okay? And that's fine. Like, having a gameplay goal for a character besides just hit you over the head is perfectly okay. Lots of great fighting game characters work exactly that way. But the problem is, she has no real way to set it up unless she's already in your face. And she is a character, despite being a bigger character, her range is not amazing, right? Like, put her up against Yasuo, she loses. Put her up against Darius, she loses. Put her up against Braum, she loses. You know, basically everyone short of Echo, she will lose out in the range department. And the problem is, too, a lot of her range is, like, anti-synergistic. Like, say I want to hit you with the big boot, which is not actually that big in the end, right? Say I'm happy enough just to get you in the block string and just force you to block special 2, which will give me the tentacle. Like, I don't actually hit you, but whatever. So I engage and then, like, oh, whiff, right? And her stuff is so prone to whiffing, it's incredibly frustrating. On hit, things usually, keyword usually, work out. If you can land the heavy, usually you can land the special 2. But still, like, on block, things, they're dicey. Like, they don't even need to be like retreating guard or anything, and she's very susceptible to retreating guard because a lot of her stuff has like big whiff animations, right? But it's just frustrating that like I just can't go ABC special, get the thing. And if you want to go for the more sure deal on block, down special 2, that's super negative to the point where, like, you know, some of the better mid-screen characters like Yasuo, they can get a punish just about anywhere, right? But yeah, block string woes aside, like, I wish there was a way just to create a tentacle anywhere. Like, it doesn't have to be on the enemy or whatever. Like, when you already have a tentacle up, she can, like, do the thing where, like, she'll, like, make a pose and then tentacle attack. If she could just do that, make, like, a longer animation pose, like, if you let the enemy let you do it, and then a tentacle could be on the screen, and then she can get some of her more advanced options on there, that'd be great. Like, it doesn't have to be a quick move, it can be slow. It can just penalize them for, you know, laming around, but that would mean, like, the world for her. Like, Illaoi in her current state kind of feels like the win more character. If you got a bunch of tentacles, great. You know, say you got the super up and you got extra tentacles on the screen, like, that can be a win condition by itself, right? That's awesome. But you gotta get there. And by herself, no tentacle set up, no prospect of, like, making physical contact with the enemy to, like, actually get it off, things are rough. Once again, as the bigger, slower character, her range is not as good as the other characters, right? She will lose to Darius. She will lose to Yasuo, who are faster characters with better frame data than her. Like, she doesn't have the, at least, you know, the carry-all of, like, I got the big range. Like, even this, right? You would think for the S1, like the Rekka series thing, you would think that'd be the go-to, and it is sometimes. Because, like, in a pure footsies battle, you're still gonna lose the Yasuo. Like, your footsies button is slower startup. It doesn't have the same range. The hurt box is, like, kind of horrendous. So I have only hurt boxes turned on right now, right? And she has a gigantic hurt box on that attack itself, just for a point of direct comparison. Like, characters like Darius and Yasuo. Like, I have hitbox and hurtbox turned on right now, and their moves are, like, wildly disjointed compared to the hurtbox. Like, S2 for Darius doesn't even have a hurtbox on the attack itself. It's just pure poke, right? And Yasuo, much the same here. Hitbox extends much, much further out than the hurtbox in all these situations versus Illaoi. Like, the vertical part of the hitbox is obviously better. That's the projectile destroying part of it. But otherwise, you know, hurtbox, for the most part, matches it, right? So in the battle of footsies, she's generally going to lose, especially because her move isn't as fast as the people with comparable range. Like, this is 15 frames. This is 11 frames. So, yeah. It is one of those moves where, like, if it does indeed connect, it feels like it hits all the way to the bank, right? So it has, like, good feels attached to it. You can get some pretty alright damage. But considering it's, like, it's your main thing, this is what the hitbox is turned on, not the hurtbox. Like, this looks good, but the hurtbox is so big. You are very likely to get buttonsed out because everyone else with comparable button range generally has it faster. It just feels like something you have to rely on, but it feels very fallible, which is one of the problems. When it works, great. When not, not so great. That and just general difficulty. Like, you'd think, you know, the base combo without a tentacle up, something like that, right? And the thing is, you can do better, but it demands something out of you that, like, no other character in this game, at least so far, at least what we know, demands. Like, let's take someone like Ahri. Do you hit a hell of a lot of buttons with Ahri? Yes. A lot of buttons. And that's, well, I don't know, subject to change, right? We'll see how this all works out once it's all said and done. But it's just a lot of buttons. Even someone like me, I consider my execution middling at best. And with enough time practice, I got him. The thing is, like, the good Illaoi combo is much harder than that. Like, just to get something basic. There we go. That's the basic version, right? And that is multiple points of failure, like multiple links. Because, like, off S2 here, right? Juggle. We gotta do that, then dash back S1. So we can do the tentacle slap. Now, technically, you don't gotta dash, but why we have to dash is because then we have to do a partial charge forward S2. Because you can get the full charge version of the move without having to get the full charge, because we want the bounce with the tentacle, right? And we can't get that unless we dash and do the back S1. So right here, point of failure 1, point of failure 2, and then hope you're fast enough to catch them on the other end of things, right? Like, and that is just more difficult than what anyone else has to deal with. Like a mini dash cancel, and then a partial charge where if you hold it too long or too short, the combo drops. And versus like Braum or Darius or Echo, I guess go blah, 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 and it all works. Not to say that there shouldn't be hard combos. Absolutely, there should be hard combos, right? But I feel on like basic ABC special combo, and one that's especially essential to her if you don't already have the tentacle up. Like if you already got the tentacle up, then you can do other things. Like you don't have to, you know, play by that game plan necessarily, right? But if you got nothing to work with, like, oh, there you go. I know it's going to drop because I missed my dash cancel, right? If you got nothing else to work with, you kind of got to go that route or just accept garbage damage or accept like various assist routing, right? And say she's the last character alive, tough Tanuki, right? Like, guess you're just going to be screwed. That sucks. I don't know. So long story short, like, I love this character. I love this character's aesthetics. I love everything the character does. But I feel that she has to work harder than everyone else. And she struggles more than everyone else, right? She needs an optimal condition. And once the optimal condition is live, you can do cool things. Absolutely, right? But everyone else just kind of does the thing and go. Even Braum. Like, Braum has the buff. But the buff feels like an extra cherry on top of what you already got. Like, when you have the buff, it feels like you are now in control. Like, people gotta really worry about like a charge forward heavy or something, or just even just you running up and just doing stand medium because that has armor on it now, right? Like they have to respect it. Braum now feels like a super version of himself, versus Illaoi getting tentacle out just feels like that gets you to normal. You don't feel extra strong. You're just now where you need to be, and if you don't have the tentacle up, tough. So of everyone, like once again, I see the vision there for a lot of the characters, but of everyone, I feel Illaoi has the furthest to get where she's going. But once again, this is why we say this, because the game's not out for another year, so she'll have plenty of time to get there, hopefully. And now, I guess we're sort of in the everything else section. So another thing that's been talked about is like buttons. I feel like the game's almost one button too many because I feel dash macro and parry macro are basically mandatory. At least I'm playing on leverless right now or arcade stick. To me, that's how it feels. If you play on pad, I don't know, maybe we'll see. But I also see a lot of people who also feel the same way. And I kind of wish, I don't know if it's too much to ask, but like, could there be motions? Do you only want to stick with special buttons in direction? Because the fact that there is special buttons is the fact why I feel there is too many buttons, right? Without special 1 and special 2, then even with those macros, we're just down to a 6-button game. Maybe give the option for like pro controls or something like that, right? Where you don't got to use the special buttons, and the very special ones could be like quarter circle forward light, quarter circle forward medium, quarter circle forward heavy, quarter circle back, like, and so on and so forth, right? Even with the addition of motions, if we remove 2 special buttons, I feel that personally that would be better on my fingers, because like my fingers kind of hurt. Like there's so many buttons to press, and it's the constant having to move around the layout of the controller that is the stressor point there, right? If I only ever had to worry about light, medium, heavy and never move my fingers from there unless I needed something special, but I'm constantly moving to like special 1, special 2 and all the others, that's kind of the point. Now, will I learn? Yes, I'm already learning. I'm already getting better, but it's just something to talk about, something to ask for, I guess. Other little things. If one person hits button at the start, both intros get skipped. As far as I understand it, both players need to like try to skip past the intro for the intro to skip, and that gets old fast. At the very least, let me skip my own intro if you're not going to let me skip both of them, right? Like, that just feels like a quality of life thing. Like, let's get to the fight quicker, please. I understand the appeal. Sometimes people want to watch the intros, but for me, once I've seen them once, I've seen them a million times, I'm good. Also, I'm very, very, very big on lore and flavor. And to that point, I feel that there should be character-specific barks and win quotes. When I'm talking character-specific barks, I'm saying like specific call-outs. You do a move and normally they'll say like whatever, But oh, if it's Braum versus Illaoi, right? Illaoi is quite fond of Braum. Maybe she'll specifically call out Braum in one of her moves. Like say they, we have Jinx in the game. Say they add Vi, right? Vi and Jinx could say a lot of cool things to each other while fighting that are specific to the matchup. It's purely lore. It doesn't add gameplay, but it makes you more invested, at least to me, right? Like Blaze Blue, hearing the specific characters calling each other, because there's a lot of character-specific barks in a lot of the fights. Like Jin will say a lot of stuff to Noelle, right? And I used to play that matchup a lot. So every time I did Arrows of Ice and I hear Jin scream out, "Noelle Vermilion," every time with like just disgust in his voice, that made me like, okay, yeah, he hates her guts. And it's not gameplay, but it is fun and I like it. Just like Runeterra, the card game added so much to the lore and the world, and a lot of that's in this game, like Braum and a lot of the Poro stuff is all directly out of Runeterra. You can add more to the League universe by doing that kind of stuff. And on that direct note, like say character-specific win quotes. The characters, they just do the pose, that's it. Now, like, if you put me in charge, I'd make sure they have the good stuff. Like, I'm talking early 90s era SNK, where the win quotes were just absolutely insane. And there was like no oversight. They just said whatever they wanted to say. Like Braum wins and it's like, "Oh, you need more muscles, you pansy." Like that would be early SNK level. But just when you win a little win quote, just some little text at the bottom to further along the characters, their personalities, the lore, the greater world, right? That seems to be the idea. We have Runeterra, we now have this, we have Arcane. Just all sorts of things to build up the League of Legends characters, their stories. And like more than just, hit QWER in League of Legends, right? It's a small thing, but a win quote can go a long way. You get a fun one that, has a good character interaction and can make the lore nuts go crazy and ponder over it for years to come. Or maybe it's just a little silly and people will be posting pictures of it on Twitter 30 years later. It's basically all upside as far as I'm concerned. And it doesn't break the bank. Even if you don't want to add the voice actors, you could just add a couple lines of text or something like that. Other stuff, I'm sure it's there. It's just the beta, right? But I hope there's proper matchmaking. Like, don't force me to use a lobby. I'd much rather personally just queue up, look at my phone while I'm waiting for a match. And when I get my match, then I go play the game, right? Lobby experience, I think, is great for many. It's just not personally for me. People don't like being forced into it. Like, look at the years and years and years of Guilty Gear Strive lobby discussion. You don't want to bring that on your head. That's an unforced error. Lots of folk are like me. They just want to, either play on the phone or go in the training mode, queue up while in training mode, and they can practice combos while they wait for a match. Please, I'm sure you're already gonna, but please make sure to make that an option. Thank you. Now, all that said, this is a longer video, and you would think maybe with the length and a lot of things I have to talk about, like maybe, do I hate this game? No. My overall opinion is very positive of the game. A lot of what I gotta say is admittedly kind of just quibbles. The core of the game, the bones of the game are good. Is it perfect? No, but then again, no game's perfect unless it's Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution, because that game was perfect. And if you talk to any other old timer, they'll pretty much have to agree with me. But not every game gets to be Virtua Fighter 4 Evolution now, does it, right? So with what we know now, the fact that Riot's very receptive to criticism and ideas, I'm sure they're going to get to where they need to go. The fact that I see them, on Twitter, various places, like they're actively listening to the community, the people that want to talk, they're listening. You don't get that a lot these days. A lot of the time it's here's what's on the table and you got to finish your plate, and if you don't like it, tough. So I'm a fan of what's being offered and the fact that they will listen. And hopefully they'll make smart changes. This game, the build I played last year, is a different game than this game, right? Obviously the graphics animations are mostly the same. People aren't T-posing, I guess. But it's different enough. And I'm sure it's going to be different enough by the time it actually comes out sometime next year. And I'm very confident it's going to be all for the better. So basically, when they ask for your feedback, make sure to give it. Have a very rare treat and opportunity in the fact that we actually do have developers that will listen. So take the opportunity to make use of it before it goes away, and we won't see it again for a while. But yeah, in the end, I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of good times. I was very shocked. Man, some people are very smart and very good. Like some of the people I played just absolutely crushed me. And I'm like, man, I played this game before a lot of you guys, and you guys are killing me. How are you doing this? Like, people are pretty good these days. So that was a very welcome surprise. The game's very freeform. Generally, if you think it'll work, for the most part, it will kind of work, right? And that's really fun as well. This game is it's definitely going to be a really fun training mode game, just to see all the things that are going to be possible, especially thanks to the fuse system. Just you can get more out of any character or any synergistic amount of teams, thanks to whatever your fuse is, adds another layer on top of that, right? So there's just going to be a lot of cool stuff going on in this game. And as it gets tweaked, it's just going to be even better than it currently is, and I'm really looking forward to it. So I see the timer is over 40 minutes now, so we're going to cut it here. So that's my thoughts. I had a lot of fun. Things need to be changed. Things can be better, but it's still fun as it stands. 2 thumbs up from me. Looking forward to the future, and I hope you are as well, because I think the game's going to be pretty cool. And that all said, that is the end of the video. So thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some 2XKO.